Good evening, I'm Zargana. Welcome to the studio. So, let's progress more with this. Maximum brightness. That way it doesn't flash. Right. You want to curl that way, okay, very much, we'll curl you that way. Right. So, more green stuff. So we do this triangle a bit more, and then we'll switch to the black stuff and do that triangle a bit more. And then we'll go back to the background. Which is way off. Way off. Sure it is. For half an inch off. I'm going to have to tighten these up a little bit and loosen that up a little bit just to try and get them a little bit more aligned. Ah well, never mind. Right. Now that is weird. A refresh brought that up. Okay, well, never mind. Hello, Emmy cat. Hello. Hello, Emmy. Shall we show you to everybody on the stream? Yes. Say hello. Oh dear, yes, alright. Okay. You're okay. You're alright. Say hello to everybody. Everybody, this is Emmy. Emmy the cat. And we've got a Theo coming in as well. We'll put Emmy down and pick Theo up in a second. Yeah, you want to get down? There you go. You go. Theo, do you want to? No, you don't want to be on camera tonight. Oh, you want to play? He wants to play with Emmy. We're probably going to chase each other around the curtains in a moment. So back to sticking large bore needles through material, through canvas. Now I expect that sound should be okay at the moment. You should not be getting any pops or clicks from the microphone. Emmy has really, really fine fur, and it gets, I would about to say gets everywhere, that's not what I actually meant to say. It kind of clings to your face and you feel it. And you've got to be careful not to trap that roll with my fingers, or with my fingers, because if I do, I'll just pull out these loops. I'm going to have to shorten those curtains, then they can't chase around them like that. So this can be quite a satisfying thing. If you're feeling stressed, sticking a needle through material like this can be quite therapeutic. It certainly turns out gets quite relaxing to do. Excuse me. Well, for anybody watching, good evening, welcome. Feel free to ask any questions. You are looking at rug making, as in I'm making a rug. I'm doing it using a punch needle. It has other names. As to what its proper name is, I couldn't tell you. Punch needle is rather appropriate though, given that I'm punching it through the material. This is similar to the way in which real rugs are made, except when they're made in a manufacturing plant. I don't know what you call a place where they make rugs. They're using hundreds of needles all at the same time, but to all intents and purposes it's exactly the same process. Well, having said which, of course, like everything else, I'm sure there's different ways of making rugs, and so it's possible it's got nothing like, I think, you know, the way they make some carpets, for example, is to actually glue the threads down to the back, and I suspect maybe they make some rugs like that as well. This isn't particular, as I say, this isn't particularly like carpet making, that's slightly different. Right, now that's got tight, and before I go any further, what I'm going to do is just make a loose pile of it, because if it stays tight, what it will do is it will pull the loops out. Wolfie! I'm sure that means something. I'm sure if you want me to know, you'll tell me what it means. Good evening, how are you? Yeah. You see, it's true. Perfectly true. Poking a rug. If you meant poking or poke, it's P-O-K-E. if you meant something different, then yeah, that's true. It kind of does in a way. You should notice, excuse me, you should notice that you're not noticing any clicks and pops. So hopefully you're feeling a lot better than you were on Tuesday, I think it was. I don't know about that, but I know a bit about them and I've been around them for a long time. Okay, what can I help you with? Game crashes when you move it from screen to screen 2. That, off the top of my head, is this, well I was going to say this is a Windows game, it is a Windows game. Is it an old game, or is it a relatively new one? If it's an old game, I could potentially understand that, because old games would not necessarily have expected people to have more than one screen, and it can give, when a game asks Windows about the where it is, or about mouse movements and things like that, it can get some what it considers are really odd results, either numbers that are too big or numbers that are negative, and if they weren't designed to handle it, that would just cause them to crash. That's done. Oh, okay. In that case, in that case, I consider that to be a bug. I can't think of anything with a modern game like that where it would crash, would systematically cause it to crash. There's nothing. I can't see devs being daft enough to do things these days that would not be happy with however your screens were arranged. I'm assuming screen 2 is to the right of screen 1, it's where most people do it. Yeah. Certainly I don't play Hearthstone, so I don't know anything particularly about it. Has it been updated recently? As in sort of past couple of days? So I'm guessing you've had it working okay on the other screen before now. So, one thing that did happen on Tuesday, of course, is we got the Microsoft updates on Tuesday. So So it's possible that something in that update broke Hearthstone. It sort of broke my broadcast for a while. It certainly sounds like something that Hearthstone isn't handling. Because I mean, I am sure that all your other, most of all the other applications are okay. They don't mind being moved between screens. So it will be something about the Hearthstone interaction. The sort of if you really want Hearthstone on your other screen while you're doing things for whatever reason, one of the things you could try doing is in your Windows settings swapping the order of screens. So instead of it being monitor 1, monitor 2. Yeah, that's right. You could actually swap it so it's monitor 1, monitor 2, but drag the monitor to the other side and then tell it the other one's the primary monitor, and then it becomes the other way around. That might be a way of just working around it, where if you want it on the other screen while you Hearthstone sorted out. No. It's a simple answer. You shouldn't really pirate a game. I can understand the temptation to do it, but no, you shouldn't really pirate a game. It's kind of like if you've done some design work, let's say a different metal workshop took your design and started selling stuff from it, you'd kind of be upset. You know, if they make thousands of pounds from using your design without paying you any money for it, you'd be rather upset about it. And that's effectively what pirating a game does, or pirating software does. I can understand that about and what you literally don't want to waste money on it, and it's kind of unfortunate though. I mean, you can do a couple of things in that respect. You can try and persuade the devs to see if they'll release a trial version, a demo, as they sometimes do in some of these games, like a level or something. Otherwise, what you're doing, you are really stuck with watching, going through Twitch or YouTube and seeing if anybody's playing it and watching them. I can understand the frustration though, but you've got mixed feelings, yeah. Yeah, no, I understand it, but unless somebody's going to either you find somebody who will let you use it on their computer, or you get them to say to release some form of demonstration version. I think these days, a lot of things. The other one actually potentially is, I can't remember with YouTube, if it's available on Steam. I think you'd have to read the terms and conditions, because I can't remember now whether Steam gives you a very short period of time in order to say, actually no, I don't like this, and ask for your money back. That might be a alternative, but I still would not, condone anybody pirating a game. I mean, it's effectively. I know what people say. Well, if it's bad, I wouldn't have bought it anyway. Well, yeah, but they still, they still had to produce it for you to pirate it. So, if you pirate it, you're not going to buy it. Most people who pirate a game doesn't. So. And of course, it is breaking the law. In most countries, it's civil law rather than criminal law, but it's still breaking the law. So, how did you fix it? It's only 2 hours long as a game. In that case, I'd be asking myself, is it actually worth? If it's expensive, is it actually worth it for 2 hours? And so something I kind of apply to me, if I've got mixed feelings about something like that, then basically it means there's something about it that I don't like, and probably I'm just not able to articulate it. It's like you might describe it as a gut feeling, a feeling inside of you. There's something about it that you don't actually like. And it probably means that, for me, it probably means that I'm not going to like it, so I'm not even going to bother. I'll watch it, and maybe come back to it in a few months. I might change my mind then. Okay. That's odd. That's not a very good design on their application if it can't handle not being given a size. Kind of should default to something. Well done for finding it. The question would be, I guess, is why did that suddenly become blank? Or what is it about it that changed? Because obviously it worked for you before. So either there was something in it and it's gone blank for some reason, or something's changed. But so well done for finding it. Maybe that's your expertise as a game tester coming into to effect there, Wolfie. According to the newspaper sites, England tomorrow is going to have 10 inches of snow. I'll tell you what, it's rather warm here in the studio tonight. Well, be surprised if that's the case, because copyright is a European-wide thing, and it's an interesting. I mean, you're effectively saying there, if it's all right as long as you don't tell anybody. Well, if you don't tell anybody, nobody knows. Sort of, potentially. But somebody had to do it for you to have a copy, unless you're going to be reverse engineering applications in order to pirate them. It's the actual don't tell anyone. Don't tell anybody. Yeah, don't tell anybody. Making a copy in the first place is actually the illegal thing. It is. There are often. So making the copy in the first place is breaking the copyright. Distributing it by putting out a copy is a different law, I think. That's things like what comes under different things like, well, in the UK, I was going to say Sale of Goods Act, but that doesn't exist anymore. There's a replacement for it, but it's counterfeit goods and things like that. So there's kind of two different things going on there. If you take some piece of software, copy it somehow, don't tell anybody else, don't let anybody else know that you're using it or anything like that, talk about it or anything, well, nobody will ever know, but you will. Personally, what I think I'd say to you, Wolfie, is if you're really not sure enough to want to buy it, then don't. Save your money, buy something else that you really do want to buy. Well, for me, I'd feel better that way. I don't think pirating is good for anybody really. And I mean, ultimately, if you take it to its extreme, and I'm doing this on purpose, but if every game that came out was pirated, nobody bought it, and everybody just used the pirate copy, then all the people that are making the games just wouldn't bother because they wouldn't get any money for it. and that's what it's all about, really. And they stop making games, and then nobody'd have any games to play. Yes, I know there are times where games don't suit everybody, but you're going to unravel. Come on, unravel. You're not going to, are you? No, you're not. So let's undo the knot it's getting into. There we go. Were you seriously expecting me, I wonder, Wolfie, to actually say, yeah, go ahead and do it? See, I think you were an honest person, so I think probably what you were doing is just looking for someone to agree with you that you shouldn't do it, just sort of to, just to boost the confidence that you're doing the right thing. Well, hopefully you've got reasonable advice then. So perhaps what you ought to do now is go onto the forums and start, leaving messages about, do have the devs, or will the devs release a demo version that you can have a little play with? Yeah, you. If you think about it, Wolfie, you weren't struggling with the models because. You know what you should do, or you knew what you should have done. That's why you were struggling, because you knew what you should do. Does that sound daft? You knew what you should do, but you sort of really want to play the game. You want to find out, and so you're kind of looking for a reason. So no, I think you were. Your instincts are right. The models are in the right place. Right, I'm going to switch to black in a second. Pull that out and cut it off. I'm going to have to find my headband. I'll do it for the second. Now what you need to do, Wolfie, is find another game that you do really want, and then you can you say to yourself, I did the right thing, and now because I did the right thing, I've got this money I can spend on this game that I really do want, as opposed to the one I wasn't sure about. Alternatively, you can just save the money and go, hey, I've saved some money. Didn't spend the money recklessly on something. Of course, now that you're old, you should be saving up for your own house or apartment. Not spending it on games. Well, no, it was your birthday not so long ago, so. Thank you for hosting as well, Wolfie. Trying to think. So yeah, I was probably round about your age when I bought my first house. In 15 days. I thought it... I thought it was... Okay, well, obviously I got it wrong. I thought it had been. So, yeah, I've got a bad memory. You know I've got a bad memory. 30th of March 1998. I started working 1975. Yeah, I think by then I was sort of living in my own house in that year. You told me before, and I remember the discussion because we were discussing about things like how it was a security question. You were telling me about the fact that you need your national identity number usually to prove who you are, not questions like date of birth and things. So I must have just got it all completely upside down. You will eventually. You'll want one. At the moment, you've got all this cheap lodging living at home, I suspect. But there will come a time where you want to of your own property. Happens to everybody. I don't know if it's the same in the Netherlands as it is in the UK, but I mean, it's an expensive thing is buying any sort of property, but it's kind of a lot easier when you're younger than it is when you start getting older, because you've got a lot more sort of flexibility when you're younger, and things well in the UK you've got mortgages for house for the cost of buying properties, and the younger you are, the longer you can have them for. Essentially, I think usually they're often up to like 25 years in the UK, and whilst mortgages mean you pay more, it's a loan after all and you're paying interest, but it does mean that the amounts are actually lower. Like as you get older, you're not, well, I was about to say not allowed to, that's not true, but the lenders don't like you having mortgages after retirement age, for example. So if you try and buy a house a lot later in life, you can't have a 25-year mortgage, you can only have like a 10-year mortgage, doubles the price. I can't compare it because I don't know anything about it. Yeah, that happens as well. Down a bit there, I'll be a bit careful. I'm creating a curve. Gotta make sure I go straight across. That's one point of view. I might tend to disagree with you. I think Yorkshire is completely awesome. After all, it is described as being God's own country. I'm just debating whether to tease you or not. I probably won't, but I will tell you what I was thinking of saying. I was thinking of saying, well, what's the Netherlands got? You know, a few tulips, windmills, and clogs, and that's about it. And who says God is good? Well, lots of people do. Lots of people do. Interestingly, though, having mentioned clogs, that's a stereotypical thing for Yorkshire. Is clogs, a whippet, which is a dog, and a flat cap. And another argument for God being good is if you've ever seen Yorkshire, well, then you'd see why he'd want it. So it's got to be good. The stereotype of clogs for Yorkshire, I think, stems from a long time ago when Yorkshire used to be a centre in the UK, I don't know about the world, for weaving and textiles. And I'm sure there's a story somewhere about in the Industrial Revolution about workers throwing their clogs into the machine. Into the weaving machines because they were replacing jobs and they were sabotaging them. Which for some reason, and I don't know if it's true or not, in some language I think sabo is something to do with footwear, and that's where the word sabotage came from, using footwear in the machines. Do you? I wouldn't want. I don't think the people you hang around with are very good then. If that's all you ever hear around the place. I mean, I'm disappointed in your parents lying to you all the time, Wolfie. Pleased that you come to the stream here to hear truth. Although I suppose technically speaking, if you only ever hear lies, you can't hear me now. Nice response. If you ever want to get somebody really frustrated, deliberately misinterpreting what they say is one way of doing it. It really winds people up. Although I would say it doesn't work on me. I'd have to say that in case you try it, but it usually doesn't work on me. I've just realised when I come to the end of this rug, I was about to say I'm going to have about 1.5 inches of material which is at the end, which won't be enough to clamp it down, so I don't quite know how I'm going to hold this. What I'll perhaps have to do is sort of turn it around and clamp the bit I've done down onto the desk. The only thing about that is it'll flatten the wall. Oh well, that's something to think about when we get that far. I take it, Wolfie, since we have at odd occasions discussed things like quantum physics and parallel universes and things, you have heard about Stephen Hawking? Yeah, that's right. I agree. A great loss in more than one way. He didn't believe in the afterlife, but in some ways, let's hope this is one theory that he's proved wrong with. Well, stop moving it from screen to screen. That's assuming that's what you were doing when it crashed again. Okay, Wolfie, have a good evening. Enjoy your movie. Thank you for dropping in. Nice to see you again. Glad you're feeling better. And look forward to seeing you on another stream in the future. Right, now that that Wolfie's gone, we can say what we like about them. And there one here. Mind you, there's a VOD, isn't there, as well? They'll be able to catch up on the VOD. Oh well, maybe we'd better not do that then. This will be the last row of black for the moment. We'll switch back to using the rainbow wool. that tail off there as well so we don't catch it on anything. Right, let's swap wool. I do really hope I've got enough black left. Don't have any more. I wasn't thinking. What I should have done was use the green, not the black. I've got a large ball of the green. To some extent it's the same with the white. I've got more of the white than I have of the green, that green, which is a lighter green. Well, I'm fairly confident I've got enough for that. Although it is surprising just how much it eats wool does this. So anybody who's watching wondering why I unravel all of this, two reasons, well kind of one reason really, it doesn't put any tension on the wool when I am punching it through the canvas. If I left it on the ball and just let the ball bounce around on the desk like you would do if you were knitting for example, then it would put too much tension onto the wool and it would pull the loops out as I withdraw the needle. But by unravelling this, I remove that tension altogether. When you're knitting, you have a tendency to keep a loose section of wool, because you tend to sort of pull it with your fingers, because you're wrapping the wool around the needles with your fingers. So if it's a bit tight, you just sort of yank a little bit. So you don't have the same problem when you're knitting and you leave the wool wrapped around the ball. Yeah, it relies on the fact that there is no tension on the wool to keep the loop in the hole as you withdraw the needle. Actually, not as you withdraw the needle, as you push the next loop in. What happens is if the tension is too tight, instead of the wool going down the centre of the needle to create the loop, you pull it from the stitch before so it pulls the loop out. So this is the needle threader. Basically just a loop of wire which you push down the centre of the needle and use it to pull the thread back through. It's a very similar sort of thing for sewing needles, they're just smaller, because of course you only have to put it through the eye. On a sewing needle you don't have to put it down the body of the needle, but there we go, it's ready. Okay, so which end is that we are working from? That's got one. That's blue. That's gone green. That's green. That's green. Let's come back to there. So it looks like we actually start in the middle. And I'm wondering whether to skip. Oh, look at what this looks like. That is quite pretty. You can just about see it, but here I can see it's kind of a nice green glow, just with the light reflecting through it, coming through the canvas behind the wall. No, I should do it properly, otherwise I'll be able to spot it as a mistake. I'll grab my picture. Just a bit of work, pull some of it back. You're wondering, it's sharp, but it's not that sharp. So that's not pleasant, but and if I pushed it hard enough it would actually puncture, but I'm not going to do that. I might be daft, but I'm not that daft. Very quick cut down. I want to keep this as close as I can. This work. You can't do something with all these ends. Got a small pile of them here. Maybe you can, but I don't know anything to do with them. I guess you could just put glue on them and stick them down somewhere, but maybe you could do something like use a felting needle and turn them into some sort of felt. Go on out, needle. You can come out. It's all right. me. Sneeze for no apparent reason. I want these rows to be close together because I need to space that rows out on the other side to make them sort of fairly equal. So because the rows are really close together, what I'm doing is spacing the stitches out so I don't overcrowd the area. When I come to do this side here where I want to sort of space the rows out more, what I'm going to do is put the stitches a lot closer together so that they bulk out and fill in the gap. So this is about ½ an inch short of where I want it to be. I'm also trying to straighten it up as well because it slants. So as I get closer to the row underneath, because it slopes up, I will start spacing these stitches out a little bit, so again I don't overcrowd the area. I've got to be careful I don't follow the lines because the lines are slanting. Now this wouldn't be so bad if I was doing it with single coloured wool, because I'd just be able to go, I want to go across there, just sort of fill it in like I'm doing with the triangles. But because it's rainbow, multicoloured, variegated wool, if I do that, it won't look right. Not bad. Next one should put it just about level. So again, this one wants to be quite close. curved scissors for this sort of thing, or even for cross stitch is really nice because it means the end doesn't dig in with points because they have a curve on them. You can see. Hopefully you can see there, they've got a curve on the curve. And as you put it down, the point doesn't dig into the work, and when you're trying to do that, for example, you just need to come slightly underneath and the tips are pointing up and you accidentally cut through things that you didn't intend to. Been there, done that, didn't intend to. And again this one, at this side here fairly tight, and then we should be just about in line to come back to normal spacing. So again, we'll space this one reasonably far out. Fairly tight stitching. so what we should do now is come back to normal spacing. Being careful not to follow the lines, because that will get me into trouble by squeezing the rows too much. Well, for anybody that's watching, you're watching Zaragan Art. And I am making a rug using a punch needle. This is just one of many crafts which you will have or will see on this channel. This is quite a longish sort of project. It's a big piece, something like about 34 inches long by 27 inches wide, and this is what you're looking at, is the width here. But other crafts that have been done on this stream and will almost certainly be done again at some point in the future. Wood carving is a regular, principally relief carving. That's where you take a block of, well, any carving, you take a block of wood, but effectively it looks like whatever you carve is against a background, sort of like a picture would be, if you see what I mean, against a background. It's not what would be called a full three-dimensional carving. That's my usual preferred carving style, is relief carving. Pyrography is another big activity on the stream, also known as wood burning, although we don't burn any wood. The idea is not to burn the wood. We sort of cook it and make it change colour. You will also see, or potentially see, a smaller version of this using smaller needles and creating pictures. Punch craft, mainly call that just because that's what the manufacturer of the original tool that I bought calls it. I also have made jewellery on stream. That's chainmail jewellery. That's weaving of rings. and beadwork as well, making bracelets and necklaces with beads. Anything from quite large ones down to what they would call 11 which is 11 beads per inch. So each bead is a little under 1/10 of an inch. And something else called scraper board, so using sharp implements, this would be quite a good one actually, I guess, because it's reasonably sharp enough to do it with. But the board is black, and when you scrape it away, the black coating away, it reveals white underneath. So you make your picture, whatever it is, piece of art, by scraping away the black surface to leave the white underneath. Now whenever I'm describing what I do, what I've sort of said so far has been kind of the original 5 that I started when I first started streaming. I did 5 in rotation, and I always forget one of them. So I've just listed 4 there, and I'm now sort of just chatting on whilst I try and remember what the 5th was. I did it fairly frequently, so I ought to remember, but I don't. So, pyrography, scraper board, chainmail, wood carving, and something else. Now, I'm looking around the room to see if I can spot whatever it was that I used to do. It is really weird. I always forget, and I cannot remember now. So I will ponder that. But what we've also done since then is glass engraving, airbrush painting. Indeed made a model quadcopter helicopter. Started making a 3D printer. Soldered up some doorbell sounders. All of these sorts of things on stream. And I still can't remember what the 5th one was. I used to have to do them all in a very small space, so it wasn't something that took up a lot of space. And he says, still casting his mind around, trying to remember what it was. And it will be extremely obvious. I will probably be remembering it immediately after the broadcast ends. But at this moment in time, I cannot remember. We've also made rugs using latch hook methods rather than this. This is punch. Latch hook is tying knots. But that wasn't the 5th one. You ever have these moments where things like that, you know it, you just can't recall it, and it gets really frustrating. As I say, after this stream ends, I probably will go around the studio here searching for it until I find it. For a while, I even had the 5 written down on a piece of paper in front of me. I've lost the piece of paper. I think I threw it away actually. It was the back of an envelope. So I can't actually refer back to that. So what would it have been? I already mentioned the punchcraft. And the airbrush painting was later. And the pyrography and the carving. And the chainmail. It's definitely 5. Well, I can't remember unfortunately. So when I do remember, I'll let you know. But as you can see, with the things we've done afterwards, punchcraft I'm making here, latch patchwork rope making we've done on stream as well. The glass engraving I mentioned, as well as the airbrush painting. There is a fair number of different artistic crafts, which are all, I guess you could say, showcased. Yeah, that's a good word. Showcased on this stream. So I'm not perfect at any of them. I enjoy doing them. And hopefully it gives other people an opportunity to see what they are about as well. No, it wasn't candle making. That's something Lady Zara used to do. Maybe one of these days we'll get her doing it again. But not candle making. That takes quite a bit of infrastructure, and I would not have had that in the when I was. The carving was bad enough because all the shavings need to be cleared up after every single stream. It had to be something that was small enough to do in about a 1 foot square, because that's all the space I used to have for the studio. Not like this one, which is feet across, and a whole large desk here, although it does have a 3D printer sat on the end of it here that needs to be finished. You wouldn't think it'd be so hard to remember what it is that you used to do and have done at this very table. So I've done all 5 crafts again here at this very table under this very camera, and no. The 5th one is not coming to mind. What I'd recommend, if you really want to know what the 5th one is, go take a look at the older videos on YouTube. youtube.com/saragantart. The complete archive, or as complete an archive as I've got available, is there, and you'll be able to see all 5 crafts. Maybe one of these days I'll write them down again, just so I don't have to try and remember, and I've got them in front of me. So I'm not going to carry on now. I'm going to cut this off in a second. What I'll do is we'll stop at this point for this evening. Let's put these off, turn it over. Got to put the other side out to it. So this is the back that we've been working on. This is the front. There you go. And something marked off. And leave that there like that. So that'll be it for tonight. I'm only finished around about 9 o'clock. Well, we're almost there. So I mentioned if you want to see any of the old videos, the complete archive that's available. That's just about every single recording that's been broadcast. Every single broadcast on Twitch has been recorded is available to see on youtube.com/SarahBernard. This one will be available on Twitch shortly, and you'll be able to watch it from tomorrow evening on YouTube. Which only keeps them for about a couple of weeks. They're being archived onto YouTube for anybody who would like to see anything. But do remember they are real-time broadcasts, so you get whatever it is. There's no speeding up, it's all done in real time. So we've broadcast so far as taken out on about 20 hours. Now then, if you'd like to see more of this rug being made, because we're going to play around with it for a little while, then keep the streaming tomorrow night from approximately 7 PM UK time, GMT at the moment, and then going on to about 12. May start a little late, it all depends on whether in can work and have time to have an evening meal before I start streaming, because otherwise I can get hungry. And when I get hungry, I stop eating. So if I want to carry on, I'll start a little bit late sometimes just while having an evening meal. If you want notifications, then of course there's the follow button up there that does support the channel. It would be very fantastic if you push that button and follow the channel. You will, if I believe you allow Twitch to do so, get notifications when I go live from Twitch if you've got the right to the browser or you ask for email. And if you would prefer, you can get notifications on Twitter. He says we need to actually tweet it tonight. But usually I do actually make tweets before I go live, or as I go live. So if you would prefer that, follow me on Twitter. It's at SarahBernard, twitter.com/SarahBernard, of course. And then I'll tweet. I also do if I'm not going to be able to stream for any reason. Usually I'll try and tweet out that as well. So it's looking on if I'm not here. A little bit longer sort of format of things, a few pictures if you'd like to see them, of course, are available on Facebook, facebook.com/SarahBernard. There's also a other site whose name has just escaped me for photographs. Not too many there. We'll have to put some more up at some point, but never mind, forget about that one. If you'd like to support the channel further, above just the follow, then of course there's the other two buttons at the bottom. Proceeds of which do go towards buying materials and things which are used in streaming, whether it be wood, chisels, pliers, chainmail, camera bits, all these sorts of things. All gratefully received. Thank you very much. With that, hope I'll see you on the next stream. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.